Hello and good evening or good morning from wherever it is you're watching us from. So this is Samantha's Bridal Wedding Wednesday, and today we are really honored and really happy to be hosting Mabel Maposa of Mabel M Florals. She's a celebrity, a star in this floral industry. Flew into Kenya from South Africa for the Kenya Floral Festival, Kenya Flower Festival, and she's just amazing and a star. So today we're going to be talking about many things. So if you're a bride-to-be, we're going to be giving you a lot of advice. If you are a floral enthusiast, there's a lot for you there. And more so, if you are in the wedding business, it's going to be a lot of wedding business advice. And for those people who want to take their career to the next level and get into the floral business, or you're a floral designer already, there's a lot for you. So join me, as I'm really excited, as you are, because I want to hear fresh new things. Welcome, Mabel.
Thank you so much for having me, Catherine. Really, really excited.
I'm excited too, and really happy to have you.
Thank you.
So Mabel, as in you've done a lot. When I met you on Saturday, I was just starstruck. You looked amazing in that.
Thank you.
In that dress.
Wasn't it beautiful?
It was beautiful.
Such a beautiful designer.
Yeah. So Mabel, tell us about yourself. About your business. What do you do for those people who may not know you? Tell us more about yourself and your business.
Where can I start, Catherine?
Start by how you got started, what inspired you, for example.
Absolutely, yeah. I think what inspired me really many years ago was an opportunity to do my own wedding. 12 years ago, to be honest with you. I think it evoked some spirits that I didn't even know existed inside of me, you know. But I know my mother tells me earlier on, back when I was in Zimbabwe, that I did love flowers. I spent hours in her garden. My mother used to grow marigolds. You know, Zimbabwe has got this orangey marigold flower. They smell awful. Then I didn't like the smell, but it triggered something inside of me. It stayed forever. So when we got married 12 years ago, we really couldn't afford to hire a professional designer and get all the flowers that I needed. And then I said to my husband, well, I can do that, which I'll tell you in a moment. Biggest mistake also. You don't do that. Okay. But I enjoyed it. You see, that's what happened. I enjoyed working with the flowers. I still can remember the smells that were around my flowers. I still remember the types of flowers. I may not have known what they are then. Now I do. But since then, I fell in love, not just with my husband, but with flowers too. I couldn't help it. So it's really, I'm that person who is passionate, driven. So I know I have to compete between flowers and my husband. So I don't know who's my first love here. I feel bad.
Okay. You know, it's funny you mentioned that it's out after your wedding that you got inspired to get into the floral business, into the wedding business. Because there are so many wedding planners, many people within the industry who get inspired after their wedding.
Exactly.
Then they get into that. But so was it, at what point did you realize? Was it after your wedding that you said, I am good at this? Because you mentioned you were not happy. So what made you choose to, like, now this is the direction I want to go?
So that's a very good question. You see, the thing with my mind, I like a challenge. I studied quite a lot of things. I was all over the place before my wedding. Programming, accounting. I even was trying to do chartered accounting. I never finished. All of those things were not challenging enough for me, funny enough, you know. At one point I wanted to be a doctor. My husband was like, okay, hold up. You don't do that. You don't, just slow down, you know, and think. I think it was just because I found all these things a bit more monotonous for me. I needed a challenge, right? And I found the challenge in flowers, seriously. When I did my wedding, it was so small, but extremely challenging. I think I went in thinking it's so easy because you see, the thing is flowers look beautiful already. They look very easy. They have this calling and you think you can just take them and put them together. Oh no, it's not that easy. So that challenge is that one that triggered me and I knew I want to do it. I think I have an interest. This is a very intriguing medium. I think it's had curiosity, you know. I needed to know what else is there with flowers. Yeah.
Okay. So, so do you consider yourself an artist, or was it the artist in you that the flowers actually bring out, or exactly because flower and art are really connected?
They are one, actually, yes. I think flowers brought the art in me. Okay. I never could have described myself as an artist years ago. But as I was getting to know flowers, opening up my heart, I discovered things about me I never knew existed, you know. Flowers saved my life in many ways because when you look at them, they speak back to you. It's such a spiritual thing. So you get to, as if you're floating really when you're designing. I don't know, passion and art, it's all together.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And when you talk about, what do you find spiritual about flowers?
Calmness. They calm your nerves. They're like yoga for me, to be honest. When I'm at home, I never go a day without flowers. It's impossible. I've got my studio at home, and it's outside of our house, so I'm usually quite alone in there. And then I play my music. I feel like when I'm there alone, it's like I'm praying. It's like a prayer between me and the universe and God. As I'm designing, it's no big deal, but I connect on that level because I let go of every little thing and I let my heart speak. So then my signature styling translates itself into my work because I'm a hopeless romantic.
Before you developed your signature style, but later on I want you to tell us about your signature style.
Of course.
Did you go to train or did you just get started?
So, Catherine, yeah, at first I just got started. I woke up and I thought I could do my own wedding, you know?
Everyone does that.
Yeah. Look, you can't avoid that. It's unavoidable because flowers really are easy to work with, you know? It's the depth of it, you know. The thing is, social media, you know, back in the day, what was there? Facebook was such a big thing. YouTube. You can also see that you're lacking something. That was the thing for me. I didn't allow myself to be content with just, I can do this, I'm good at it. I knew that in order for you to claim art, to really know what you're doing, you need training in everything. That's why our industry needs to gain a little bit of respect because we are artists, that's the thing, you know. So I did eventually, after many mistakes, that taught me life lessons, that not everything is about you think you can just go for it. Everything needs training. Even a child, you train them to crawl, right, before they can walk. You don't just think you can do it. There is methods and techniques that you need to master, and then you pour in your personality and you become an artist that you need to be. Mm-hmm.
So there is methods, techniques, but just briefly, there are some principles of design.
Yeah.
Can you just briefly, for those people who may not know, like what are some of those principles of design that someone must think about?
In floral design, we talk about design principles and elements. But what I love about that is that it's not limited to just floral design only. Every form of anybody really who's an artist, painters, architects, interior designers, they all use design principles and elements. What are they? We look at color, form, shape, right? Balance, proportions. All these things you need, that if you're an interior designer, you look at a house like this, you need to know, where do we set up? a dining, where do we set up this? It's called placements, isn't it? Where do we put lighting, chandelier? Why is that vase over there on the table? Why is it not too big? It's a placement. There is a design principle that went into it. Whether we acknowledge or we don't, in fact, how do I say it? Design principles and elements are present in the work you do, whether you know or you don't know, they're actually present. But what would be nice is if you maybe try to know them. I think it'll make you, then it becomes exciting, because then you can actually see the movement and the flow of your design.
So, I learned about the Fibonacci numbers.
The Fibonacci sequence.
The sequence, yes. And the first time I heard of it, I was like, we were in a shop buying a shoe.
Oh my God.
And I was asking, why is this shoe so expensive? And the guy over there says, when we designed this shoe, we used the Fibonacci sequence.
Oh, wow.
Which even Mona Lisa, the artist Mona Lisa used. And I'm like, what is that? And I look at my husband. I'm like, yes, I know about the Then I thought I'm married to a genius or what? So yes, there's, like
golden
the
ratio. So that is called proportion. It's actually a mathematical ratio that is, how do I put it? Isolde is the one he was a brilliant Greek mathematician, right? And Leonardo Fibonacci is the one who discovered the sequence. And it's just a sequence of numbers that the way they add on is just by adding a previous number and then you carry on like that. It's that ratio in between the numbers that's giving you proportions. And same as the golden ratio. Now, what is amazing is you find this in everything. Ask yourself, why, if you stretch your arm, why is the distance between here and there shorter and here and there different and here and there? It's the golden ratio. It's the sequence. So because we borrow that from nature, nature is full of the sequence, the proportion. If you use that in your work as an artist, whether you're a floral designer, interior designer, fashion designer, makeup artist, if you use those kinds of proportion, you will get the most exquisite results you never thought you could get. That's the whole point of it.
That's why they say God is an artist. And
God
we are created in the image and likeness of God.
Yeah, oh, I love proportion. I love talking about it, teaching about it.
Wow, we should invite you one day to actually teach about it. Because people just think you can just throw things there.
No.
There's a design principle behind everything. And that's what you teach in your academy.
That's what. So our academy, the approach I teach is about design principles and elements, because that's the secret I discovered to who I am. I don't teach anybody to be like me. I teach them to find themselves and be the best of themselves. The only way you do that is to tell them the secret, right? Introduce yourself and your heart to nature. What does nature give you? Law of nature. All the design principles and elements are found in nature, literally. They're not rules. I don't like saying that to people. They're guidelines in life. So you don't, if you think of them as rules, you want to break them, but they aren't. So you don't need to break anything. I think you need to just pour in your personality. So we can never be the same designers.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's why you find it so spiritual. Because nature in itself is so spiritual.
That's
like you go against nature to your own peril, because everything is in nature, and in nature we find ourselves.
Look at how seasons changes, Catherine. At times I pay so much attention to nature. On my list of things that influences me, nature is like on top. I'm like a freak of nature. What I find interesting is how seasons and how flowers, greenery, trees change, transforms. 1 minute the tree is like full on green, the next minute it's fall, everything is falling, the leaves are getting this brownish and everything. If you look at grasses, 1 minute they're really green, the next minute they're getting this burgundy color, the next minute they are dry. The beauty that comes with understanding the seasons. And I know we are cut florists, meaning we're cutting, right? And then we're designing with it. But then it's already giving us that nature is already saying to us, look at the possibilities here. So use what's in season, follow seasons, which is one of the advice I'm going to give you later to brides that are getting married. Don't dream of, we'll talk about it, yeah. Yeah.
So I usually find, I've noticed that nature is also very organized. Like now, we are getting into lavender season. I always tell people we usually have purple, lavender. We don't have a white Christmas. We have a lavender Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And then through to February in Kenya, we get pinks. Pinks, and right now it's purple, lavender, and then we get into pinks. After pinks, we get into reds. After the red, somewhere there in February, no, in April, February is pinks.
Wow.
April we have reds, and then in July we have whites.
Oh, wow.
All the whites bloom at that time.
Oh my God.
After that, then we transition again. Like everywhere you look, if you've noticed.
Oh my goodness.
If you're in Kenya,
that
I don't know, do you have that in South Africa, that certain type of colors bloom at a certain time?
Not in a way. I'd never really noticed it like that.
Try to notice it. Like here in Christmas, we have a purple Christmas, never a white Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, if you know, I mean, I've noticed those kind of colors, but nature is really
But you see how
organized.
amazing nature is, so organized like that. And it's not like somebody's infusing it. It's happening on its own,
Okay.
And it's telling you a story here.
Yes.
If that's the thing with floral design, it's deeper than just flowers. I don't like it when people are like, but it's just flowers. When, I don't know if you own a dog. I know people when they say, oh, it's just a dog. Oh, I want to kill them. It's not just a dog until you have one. Yes. And see what it does to you, just like flowers. When you open up and see what they give you, it's not just flowers.
Yes,
no.
That's true. When you talk about your first event, and not your wedding, the one that you said it was horrible, and at what point you realized, you already talked about how you realized, then we talk about how you found, what is your signature style, and how did you find it? How did you find your design voice?
Yeah.
But let's start with your first event, and how horrible, and how were you
Catherine,
forgiven?
I really hope this bride is not watching somewhere. That wedding broke my heart. To date, okay, I've moved on because I had to, but every time I talk about it, it feels like yesterday, because I didn't listen. I thought I knew what she's saying, but I didn't. I didn't listen and pay attention, And funny that the style she was asking me to do is literally my style now. If only I could find her, But we sat down many years ago, obviously, and she's like, Mabel, I love your work, but it's just too much roses and everything. I don't really like that one. I want you to go a little bit loose, a little bit more green. I'm like, yes, of course. And she mentioned, I think that was the first time I ever heard of that word. I want it more whimsical. I'm like, yes. But I'm not actually listening, My style then was more compact, because that's what, when you're entering the industry, back then it was even bigger. It's all about piles and piles of flowers, right? The bigger the better, the more roses the better, the type of thing. So you're not understanding the approach. So I'm like, what could be hard here? All I just have to do is to maybe add greenery here and there. Catherine, to cut the long story short, I promise you, on the day of the wedding, she was so horrified with her flowers. By the way, they looked so beautiful. They were not the style she wanted. You understand? This is her only one day that she could never do again. She refused her bouquet. That is what crushed me. The bridesmaids, her sisters, came back. They were so nice and so sweet. They could see I'm already crushed. I'm about to literally have a nervous breakdown. And it's like, Mabel, don't worry, it's just, maybe she'll talk to you after her wedding. She said she'd rather not walk with her bouquet. I'm like, do you want me to fix anything? Should I? Like, no. I remember walking with my manager, my husband. I cried hysterically. I was so hysterical on my own, because I was so hard on myself. I couldn't believe just how simple things can change the entire course of someone's day. That taught me a valuable lesson, a very important one. Research. Do your homework. Don't assume you know it. Don't assume you are understanding. If you're not understanding, hold back. You may say, okay, can I come back to you? Rather say in the consultation. Don't say yes if you're not 100% sure. Say, may I come back to you? I will research. If they are talking about, I want peonies, I want this, and you're not so sure if November is in fact peony season, don't say yes, because how do you know that? Say, can I come back to you? That was one valuable lesson. That made me want to learn, want to study floristry more. And as I was studying floristry, I discovered that in Africa, there's such a big gap of education. Hence, I decided I also want to get into education.
As you learn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
If I were you, I would actually look for this bride. She's still
I
forever.
can never find her. I did try for years. This is probably like 9 years ago.
You can't find her?
I can't find her. I can't find her. She's not on social media. I don't know where she is. I have no idea.
Because I would do a make do. You know,
do you know how many times I say that? I know. My heart thinks of her, you know. I never forget about her.
Because then she set you off on a learning.
She made me who I am today indirectly.
Okay.
Because the mistakes I made with her, even though the flowers were beautiful, seriously, they were so pretty, but they were not what she wanted. Okay. You must see, that's the thing there. That's what we're selling to these couples. It's the experience they want, not what you want as a designer. Infuse your personality, yes. Infuse your signature, yes. But give them their experience. That's the memory they want to live with, not your own memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, talking of personality, talking of your signature style, from there, what is your signature style and how did you find it?
Yes. So how I find it is,
first of all, what is the signature style?
Okay, my signature styling is like your natural styling, very soft, romantic, meaning that my flowers, when I work with, they tend to look really, really on the softer side.
Very
they
whimsical.
They have a lot of movement and whimsical. But they have a lot of movement. I don't believe in piling. I don't really like clutter. I love fine art detail, meaning it's really refined. You can see through stems because I am borrowing design principles and elements. And one of the design principle is rhythm, which is in other words, meaning visual flow. You know, when you look at something or that composition, it has this flowness to it and the movement. That's my signature styling. It's not just mine only. I mean, everywhere else in the world also, there are plenty designers like me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, did I see her, that style? Yeah. Anyway, that's really, really, I sort of like, I hope you'll send us some of the photos.
Absolutely.
To just show our viewers exactly what we mean by a whimsical style.
Yes.
Yeah, some may not, let's not assume. And how did you find it? How did you settle that this is my artistic voice now?
I remember seeing, what was the name of that designer? Oh my gosh. But she's an American designer. I remember her page popping on my feed on Facebook. And my heart stopped. I was like, I've never seen anything like this. I was taken. Let me tell you the feeling exactly how I felt when I saw that arrangement. It's like when you meet a boy for the first time that you love, and you have these butterflies. Yes, butterflies. But you know, when you meet that boy, you blush like crazy, and you've got this grin of a smile that you can't hide. That's what happened when I saw that arrangement. That's why I say to you, flowers and my husband compete for my heart every single day because they are both the love of my life.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, and I asked myself, how do I get to design like that? I was intrigued, to be honest, Catherine. I was so intrigued. And I made it a passion to find out what's behind that look and feel of flowers, because I'd never seen flowers here looking that way. So I started doing my research and finding out what that styling is called. Oh, by then I didn't even know it's called a styling. It's actually, we're just researching. Which is another thing when I give you advice for floral enthusiasts that, do your research and homework. That's the only way you learn, in life. Again, it comes back to the same thing. Research, learn, then experience it. Everything takes time. You don't just wake up and you perfect a certain look. It takes time, loads and loads of practice as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then you found your voice.
I found my voice. It was like when I finally found what it is, no one could shut me down, ever. So I don't really look at Pinterest anymore. I don't really want to see anybody's inspiration. I do see it, I get it, but I design from here. Okay. Because I'm speaking my voice.
All of us are inspired by Pinterest. So if a bride comes to you with photos from Pinterest, this is what I want, and you find that it is not your style. So do you say, sorry, I can't do that? You send them off to maybe another floral designer, or do you say, okay, it is not my style, but I will adopt it to my, or how do you deal with that?
That's a very good question, and I'm going to sound controversial because I know the listeners are also, some of them are designers, and it's definitely not the kind of approach, but it works for me now, and I adopted that kind of approach earlier as well. There are two things. I'll talk about how I developed my approach, and then I'll talk about my approach now, right? My approach now, it doesn't matter what you bring me. If you're coming to Mabel, you already understand it's going to be about my signature styling. You're looking for fine art detail, for romance, soft, beautiful, elegant flowers. Those are the inquiries I get. And there is a way or something I had to do to make sure that those are the types of inquiries I only get.
You will tell us what you had to do.
Yes, very easy. I don't even get anything else anyway. Mm-hmm. Which means most of my brides, when they come to talk to me, when we talk and discuss, my questionnaire doesn't even involve you sending me your pictures. I want you to describe your wedding for me. I don't really want to see the pictures. My approach and design is about space because I'm an artist. I want to take you. If you're getting married, Catherine, let's go to the venue together. Let's go what if we do something here and there and there. That's how my work stays different, and the approach is really, it's custom designed. I pour what's in your heart and then we pour it there. It doesn't matter what pictures you're showing me. You can send me the pictures. I will look at them and I'll go like, okay, cool, fine. But ultimately, it comes down to what's in your heart. The space at the venue, the colors, who's your photographer, what are the bridesmaids wearing, what type of dress you're wearing, what's your personality.
So you do not use Pinterest photos?
No, never.
But wouldn't the bride feel so that you're not listening still?
Never. Because when I am giving her the description back to her, it's exactly what's in her mind. Because I pay attention when she's talking. Okay. I pay serious attention. I listen. I tell her, tell me about yourself. We talk general. Yeah. Where do you work? What do you do? What do you do for fun? What inspires you? Let's go to the venue. What do you want to see when you walk in here? Mabel, you know what? I think I never thought of that, I'll be like, but why do you want to put all the flowers on the tables? What if we do a huge installation over the dance floor? Have you thought of it? No. Then let's do it. Wow. They won't ask me now, can I see what you've done before? Because we are a brand, the work is there. Back in the day, now, let's go back to how I developed that. It's not easy. First things that I did were a lot of style shoots. You see, the other day I was talking at the Kenya Flower Festival, and I gave one simple sentence advice. Why are you posting the things you don't want to sell? You want to transform your work, you want high-end clients, or you want better clients. Everybody wants that. So why are you posting work that is attracting a different clientele? You have to put an effort. You have to do something. So the steps I did when I was building up my brand, a lot of style shoots. I would collaborate with people I want to work with. It wasn't easy. I said in a jokingly way, DM them, send them an email. What's the worst that can happen? A decline? Fine, move on. Go on to the next one. Put a list of the people you want to work with. Stalk them until they can't breathe. You go like, listen, can I do, the photographers I work with now, they are high-end. They're not easy to talk to. I remember my first style shoot, the photographer, Charles, amazing, talented guy. I spent months stalking him. I couldn't eat, I couldn't think. I eventually woke up and decided I'm going to send him a message. Because, I was scared he would never reply. Because what do I have to show? It was the words I had to type. I didn't have a single picture. I described what I needed him to capture. And his response was, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
The thing is with artists and designers when you're starting out is fear of being rejected, fear of rejection. Everybody has that. What if I say hi to Mabel and she doesn't say hi back? But it's okay. Move on tomorrow, right? If you really want something, it can't stop you. You have to go for it. You have to put in that extra effort on your side. Build the brand the way you want. Put the pictures. Now social media is such a big thing. Now we have Instagram. It's huge. You can potentially get the clientele you need just from Instagram only. But it's the effort, consistent, being resilient. Keep posting, attract, collaborate. Eventually, that gives you experience, that makes you a brand. Then you can start demanding the things you want.
Okay.
Yeah?
And no, so talking about collaboration,
Yes.
how did you go about establishing your collaborations, and what are the kind of people you collaborate with?